forgot there is, of course. Yes, there's a card out of M13 we're going to see.
Oh, obviously,
Master of the Pearl Trident.
Now, I was talking with someone earlier today. They were Rug Delver, and they lost to this deck. We can see opening right now William Stevens with Delver facing off against Aether Vial. But yeah, he was saying that he actually got crushed by Merfolk, which is something that is not what we used to hear in this matchup.
Folk, yeah. Usually the blue deck with red in it is better than the blue deck which is just blue. Wasteland for Merfolk. We're probably going to see. I think we'll see a waste of the Trop. Aether Vial down for Scott Ruggiero.
One thing goes. Scott Ruggiero has access to Perish and Submerge.
Ooh, that's very strong. So let's see what he. And he didn't even check to see if the Delver would flip there. That was peculiar. But 2 Aether Vials going for Ruggiero. He doesn't actually need lands this game. Both these players, by the way, are 3-0, so currently undefeated. Flooded Strand. Delver will crash in. He doesn't even know if he wants Delver to crash in. He doesn't really want to trade it with a Curse Catcher.
Fetch.
Fetch, yes. There's no Stifle. Is there in the
no Stifle
deck?
in the Merfolk deck over on this side?
Yeah, no Stifle in this deck either. He's running Spell Pierces instead. Just running the 12 creatures, Goose, Goyf, Delver.
And we see a Tropical.
Goes into Trop. And thoughts here. So, Smack crashes for once. Maybe he is willing to have it trade. I'm not sure why he would do that in the order that he did, but he doesn't want to trade the Curse Catcher. Nimble Mongoose comes down. So all the creatures William Stevens needs are now in play. Let's see what Ruggiero does. 1 and 2 on Aether Vials. And there's the Mutavault. So a second land will stop these attacks. Well, at least stop the Mongoose. Another Wasteland out of Ruggiero.
Oof.
He's now got to be careful he doesn't activate Threshold for Stevens, but...
I wouldn't mind killing that land, honestly.
And play Coralhelm Commander. Main phasing it presumably because he wants to level it up. So now he's having second thoughts about leveling it up, though.
Level.
Level once. And level a second
2
time. So that gets it up to a 3/3, correct?
Good old Coralhelm. Flip.
Yep. And off Brainstorm, we now have an Insectile Aberration. So, the Delver player in a very good situation here. He's just a little bit, both of them, you know, a little bit of blue aggro decks, but the Delver deck's just a little more efficient at it right now.
Another land, Wasteland. The issue for the Delver player is that he can get outclassed so quickly by the Merfolk if they're allowed to continue to grow up.
Absolutely, and Stevens doesn't have red mana, which means he doesn't really have a way to stop that from happening. I want to say Ruggiero recognizes this, which is why he made the Coralhelm Commander. He's going to Thought Scour himself. That puts him into the Goose into... If Wasteland happens, it puts the Goose into Threshold.
The Goose into loose territory, as we said.
Right, yeah. Which is why Ruggiero can't make the block here.
A pair of 3/3 or 3 powers on William's side.
And both hit in. Ruggiero's contemplating blocks. I think he has to take 6 here, correct?
I think so.
You don't want to lose Coralhelm Commander. And he just takes 4 then. No, nothing on the Wasteland.
Up to 3.
He's leaving them both at 2.
Oh, up to 2, up to 2. Okay. 2, 2, 2, 2.
Maybe if he has two 2s in his hand, I guess that's good. At this point, Ruggiero can waste Stevens out of the game. He can also fully... I think he's going to...
Waste your waste. Oh,
that's a gross play. So I guess they're both going to get wasted out of the game.
Wow.
I don't like
I didn't
that
like
at
that
all.
one bit.
Master of the Pearl Trident now played. Master of the Pearl Trident.
Master.
And then, yeah, level up. Now, if you're gonna make the waste to waste play, don't you just waste everything?
I think so.
That's my intuition, but
I wouldn't have minded just wasting the tropical and leaving Williams.
So
with
Master of the Pearl
Wasteland.
Trident is all other of your merfolk get 1/1 and Island Walk. Coral Helm. So right now the Masters are just 3/3s.
Yep.
Meaning
But
they actually
the
don't
attack
trade.
that he can do next turn by leveling up his Coral Helm Commander. The Coral Helm Commander will be a 6/6, and his Masters
Coral
will
Helm
be
needs
4s.
5 counters or 4?
4.
It needs 4. So so they'll be.
He's got lethal next turn without casting a spell or activating his Aether Vials.
Right. Still makes me think the Wasteland should have wasted the Trop, not the Waste.
That was a weird play.
Yeah. I think he'll get out, make it out okay though.
And they come.
This is for 6, knocking Ruggiero down to 9. And untap here by Scott. Stevens is counting. I think he's starting to realize what's about to happen here.
There it is, big.
4/4.
4/4 plus 2 is 6/6
And
is
the folk,
14.
The
Go
folk
to
get
-1.
the first game. All right.
14 damage on that.
And those Aether Vials are really strong against Rug Delver. It helps him not care about such cards as Wasteland.
And it makes cards like Spell Snare
Yeah,
less
it really
powerful.
turns off a lot of the deck.
Days less powerful.
Really helps that Ruggiero had a lot of 2-drops to go with him too, so he got action very early.
The only 3 that's left in Ruggiero's deck now is 2 Kira.
Two what?
2 Kira. Kira the Great Glass Spinner.
So no Regeries?
Regery has largely been replaced in these decks by Master of the Pearl Trident and Phantasmal Image.
Interesting. So the deck's just that much more streamlined.
Now to the sideboard. Perish and Submerge available from Scott.
Very strong. I don't know about the Perish. The Submerge is just amazing.
I like Perish in the match. I mean, you've got to deal with basically Tarmogoyf and the Goose, and it's able to take care of multiple
It is
at
pretty
once.
good. Now, Vapor Snag, standard in Merfolk? Not standard in Merfolk.
I'm not sure. I have not seen it, but I was talking to, gosh, I can't remember who was telling me this, but they were comparing Vapor Snag to Path to Exile.
Well, in a lot of ways, I mean, it is similar. It is a one-mana. Unsummon has always been one of those cards that's a lot more playable than people have given it credit for. If the game doesn't last long enough, if a recast isn't possible, then it is the same as the Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, and they were also talking about this situation where a Lord is being killed, Vapor Snagging your Lord, and then vialing it back into play.
As a rest, so like as a cloud shift, kind of. And that's pretty good. I do like it there.
Now, what is William gonna do though? Red Elemental Blast seems like a great
3
weapon.
red blasts, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
His other cards, unless he wants to Ancient Grudge Aether Vials, which is, I wouldn't want to do that.
You know, I don't mind an Ooze just as a big body that can gain life.
I feel like it's slow. I don't really like it. I see what you're saying, but I don't know. Unless there's a card in the main deck I really don't like, I would probably stay away from it.
I think that there are some cards in the main deck I don't like.
All right.
Daze seems bad.
Daze does seem pretty bad.
There's 4 cards, 3 Elemental Blast, 1 Ooze. Take out the 4 Daze.
Oh, hey, that is a very good point. He left off the Tropical Island because the Tropical gives Island Walk. All right.
That's fair.
That is fair. Master of the Pearl Trident does, right.
Good
I'm
old
not sure.
lordingness.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if the blocks were important there, but very good point. And we'd missed it. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
for those of you who are just joining us, this is round 4. We just saw Scott Ruggiero with Merfolk take down William Stevens in game 1. William Stevens with Rug Delver. They are now finishing up their sideboarding in for game 2.
So going over, our Merfolk decks, and I really like how the evolution of Merfolk has really happened here. Yeah, they've really lowered on the curve, so I'm going to kind of just walk you through Scott Ruggiero's deck list. He's playing at 1, he has the Curse Catcher, and then almost all his creatures are at 2. Lord of Atlantis, Phantasmal Image, Master of the Pearl Trident, Silvergill Adept, Coral Helm Commander. Then he has 2 Kiras at 3, and that's it. So none of the 3-mana Lords, as you pointed out. Other spells, Daze, Vapor Snag, Ether Vial, Force of Will. And a set of Mutavaults and a set of Wastelands.
Now, Ruggiero got 16th place last month with Merfolk, and his list was a little bit different. He did have the 4 Regeries, but he also had Spellstarter Sprite, as well as Spell Pierce and Umezawa's Jite. Yeah, also, Ruggiero appears to be kind of a PTQ hero. He's gotten at least 3 PTQ top 8s in the last couple of years. Probably more, but 3 that we're aware of. But he also did get 3rd place at a Legacy Open in Cincinnati, it looks like about 5 months ago.
That time playing Rug Tempo. I'm certainly no stranger to the big stage. William Stevens me on the play this time. He never got his red mana online last time. What I like about this matchup is it's very similar to a Rug Delver mirror. It's both players are simultaneously trying to attack the other guy's mana base and create threats, which is really kind of how blue aggro works in Legacy.
William Stevens, kind of an unusual departure from his last major finish in Legacy. 9th place with Enchantress last year in Indianapolis at the Open.
Definitely a different deck, kind of. I feel like it's more if you can't beat them, join them going on.
Right. Personally, I know I've got a couple of friends that are really Enchantress smitten, I'll say. One of them, Melissa Vittora, really likes Enchantress. I keep trying to talk Melissa out of playing it, though. I'm just not a fan of Enchantress.
It's one of those prison decks. I would kind of put it in a 43 land in the same category in Legacy, where there are these prison-style decks with some amazing matchups and some terrible matchups, and I guess I just don't like it when my matchups are that extreme.
Too much of a die roll for the metagame?
Yeah. I feel like the bad matchups are so bad that you can't play your way out of them. You know, you can, if you're Enchantress and the other person sits down against you and is playing Storm, you know, I don't really know that you're going to play your way out of this. You have ways to do it, but it's not good.
Just drop your fast solitary confinement.
Right, and Sterling Grove. And second Sterling Grove. Right, you're right, you point out how to do it, but
well, your
skill won't bring you to that point.
Right.
You know, your draw will. Stevens starting out, Ruggiero's on 6. Stevens starts out cracking a fetch land, getting Tropical Island. I'll probably say turn 1 Goose or Delver. We're going to go with Delver of Secrets.
Oh, proxies. Is that a penny sleeve?
It might just be a KMC clear or something like that. Or maybe a penny sleeve. They are commons.
Fetch.
So fetch from Ruggiero, going to get an island. And doing that while the Stifle mana is down, though Stifle not actually in his opponent's deck. And flip off a Force of Will for William Stevens. Those blind flip Delvers are so powerful.
It feels so unfair when you do that.
Yeah, especially when you don't have to set it up. I mean, there's plenty of ways to set it up, but he didn't do any of them. And Wasteland. But Scott got a basic.
In for 3.
Right. Paying 2 to cast. Debating. All right, let's see what comes out from William. He has a good upper hand already. There was no Ether Vial. It's gonna be hard for Ruggiero to make threats fast enough. Tarmogoyf currently is a Tarmo Squire.
You know, Goyf gets promoted really fast.
Oh yeah, he works his way through the ranks, but right now just a Squire.
Ruggiero, second mana. Silvergill Adept, revealing Coral Helm Commander.
Get a draw off that. Excellent. Still in a dangerous position to try to trade with the Tarmogoyf. For all we know, William Stevens could bolt his face. Or, you know, he doesn't have the red mana yet, but a large array of plays which kind of make that block really tentative. He could brainstorm.
Brainstorm to promote himself to an Elvish Warrior?
Yes. From Squire to Warrior, and then now full on in the game of what's a 3/4, and what are his different ranks. Okay, so contemplating here. I mean, I think we're seeing on this ponder. So yeah, Tarmogoyf promoting already to a 2/3. Yeah, he's just unsure. One sec. A lot of really close decisions in these styles of decks. Games don't last. The relevant decisions take place all in the first few turns, so you really need to make sure that you're deciding those turns correctly.
All of these decisions are just so critical. You know, I like how these decks really punish you for making the slight wrong play there.
And the swings in for 5, drops Ruggiero down to 11.
Ruggiero untapping.
Yeah, but he's just so far behind. Another goose on the board. It's too many cheap threats. Really, when he's on the draw and doesn't have a vial or ways to control things in play, Ruggiero kind of finds himself at a disadvantage. His creatures don't block very well here, and they don't race very well either.
Another underground. Offering a trade with that goose.
I don't think Stevens will take it. There doesn't seem to be much of a reason to trade. Remember, Merfolk really can explode with 100 damage out of nowhere, but I don't see it happening this time. What he can do is Stevens can waste. He's thinking about wasting now that Ruggiero's in combat. He's going to Vapor Snag the reminiscent of Standard. We're going to see a Vapor Snag on the Insectile Aberration. And Coral Helm Commander from Ruggiero. And a fast back. We have Instant Sorcery Land, Tarmogoyf promoted up to a 3/4.
Resetting a Delver is actually something that can be very frustrating for these decks, just because as a 1/1 it's not exciting at all, and you might think that it would immediately easily flip, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. Of note, as we saw walking by here, Caleb Durward looking to maybe be a repeat champion. He's off to a 4-0 start today. Remember, 6 wins probably gets him to the top 8. After winning the Standard Open this morning, we'll try to keep tabs on that for you. Back over to William Stevens. He's still right now winning the race. He's a full 5 life and a turn up. The question, if he can get his goose online, if he can, Thought Scour himself, that seems excellent. He's going to attack here. That's just definitely suggesting he has a Thought Scour. The question for Ruggiero is, can he win if Stevens has a Thought Scour? I mean, it's almost certain that he does. This text doesn't really make sense if he doesn't have it. So big contemplate for him. Ruggiero has another Vapor Snag, it looks like, in hand. So he can tailor the race a little bit to where he wants it to be. But, you know, dropping down to 5 here is very dangerous.
And remember, William Stevens still has burn spells.
Right, and the red mana for them. Or the potential for red mana for them. Delver and just more creatures. Delver and Delver.
Yikes.
I mean, if the top card flips, then this is... you can't do much. He didn't actually cast the Thought Scour, it turns out, if he has it. He may have just bluffed his way into 1 point, though that's a pretty ambitious bluff if he did. Well, if I'm Scott Ruggiero, I don't try to play around with the top card being an instant or sorcery.
No, you just have to...
I don't think you can do it.
You have to accept that it might happen. You don't want to do what happened we saw the other day with playing around the worst case scenario. Oh no, what if he casts Battle of Wits?
Right, and then you end up not playing anything.
Right.
So Ruggiero drops to 6. The bigger problem is he has to find a line that makes him win in 2 swings. I don't know if that line exists.
Attention Magic players.
3 mana.
Perish and Pray?
That Perish and Pray seems like... I'd be okay with that play, I think.
Lord.
And he has Lord of Atlantis leaving up Vapor Snag. Sure. And Lord's going to get Force of Will, pitching a Thought Scour. I think. And Force of Will pitching Kira back on the original Force of Will.
Wow.
Drops Ruggiero down to 5 is the problem here. And now even without a Delver flip, this is
Let's see what happens.
pretty rough. It's top on an instant.
Now remember, he can double try.
Yep.
There
It's a lightning bolt. Okay. Yeah, wins 100 times over.
You got me.
All right, 1-1, heading into game 3.
Back to the sideboard.
Ruggiero will be happy to be. Scott will be happy to be on the play here.
And having a chance. I mean, he did mulligan that game. Having a chance to potentially have his Aether Vials be in the mix.
Merfolk's draws with Aether Vials and without Aether Vials can be radically different.
For those of you who are just joining us, we're on to game 3 of round 4 of the Legacy Tournament here. Scott Ruggiero playing Merfolk, a touch of black in the deck for the sideboard of Perish, and that's all in the sideboard. It's 3 Perish, and his opponent, William Stevens, Rug Delver.
And we didn't see any sideboard cards out of William Stevens, though we can only assume that Red Blast is there.
I would believe it.
I mean, I like a 1-mana Terminate, Vindicate. That's just a Terminate, but counterspell everything. It's yeah.
So I asked you this before on another match. Do you have a favorite in this match in terms of just who you would like to see win?
Well, I like the Merfolk deck. I think we see a lot of Rug Delver. I'm really enjoying watching the Merfolk deck.
Me too. Me too.
So, in that sense, yeah, I think we'll see more Rug Delver. We saw some last round. It's obviously a very powerful deck and a very exciting deck.
Yeah, I'm on Team Merfolk as well. Being on the play here can be a huge difference in these matchups that are often defined by little fights over tempo. Having just a little bit of an edge and being able to push it, because you can get rid of your card advantage in order to make a temporary advantage where the life total of your opponent crashes down remarkably. And yes, maybe they would take the game over if they had 10 more life, but they don't have it.
Right. Right. Alright, so both players drawing here. See what like I said, Scott's looking for probably for an Aether Vial hand, I think is probably his hope. Scott's going down to 6. Not really happy about it. Stevens appears to be keeping his 7. So 2 mulligans for Scott.
That's how Magic works, though.
Yep.
I mean,
It's legacy, so you know the decks are powerful enough they can easily make up for the loss of card. But it does mean you don't get to be very picky about what you get.
Scott Ruggiero hoping for something a little bit better. William Stevens shuffling, trying to get some mojo on that, make it not so exciting for Scott.
Yeah. All right, so Scott's draws up here to 6. Deciding, looks like he has a keep. All right, game starts. First turn fetch land from Scott Ruggiero.
Pass. That's not exciting for him.
No Ether Vial. Let's see. Stevens probably with some sort of 1-drop. Yeah. All right. Cracking in response. Scott probably. He doesn't have Stifle. He waiting to see? Okay, just getting in. Could have done that on his main phase, but opted not to.
They don't have each other's lists, so they.
No, why Ruggiero didn't just play and crack to start
Right.
the game. I guess he could have done that, but.
Volcanic Island versus Island.
And it looks like the Volk would suggest that we're getting a Delver of Secrets out here.
Shuffle.
Yeah, a lot of shuffling in Legacy. Bring good sleeves.
One of the only things about Legacy I don't like is the shuffling. Turn 1 Ponder. This is actually good news for Scott. It means a little bit of a chance to not have the Delver already in the air coming at him.
Yeah, I mean, Williams has that at both games, flipped some turn 1 Delvers at him, which has been pretty good.
Our director letting me know he's firmly on Team Merfolk here. Apparently, not so long ago, a PTQ winner with Merfolk.
All right. Okay, so Ponder keeps on top. Draws Ruggiero with a Wasteland. 2 lands. Can he get a threat out, or is he going to just try to waste William Stevens? He doesn't have a good threat yet, so he's going to go with the Wasteland play. And passes turn. Still a shame that there's no Ether Vial going on here.
One of the things that is very problematic for Rug Delver, a very fragile mana base.
It's very vulnerable to Wasteland. It has no basics in it. It actually only has 6 lands that tap for mana. 3 Trops, 3 Volks. Alright, 2 mana from Scott. And he'll go Master the Pearl Trident. Could not quicker get... I think William Stevens, we're going to see a Daze.
And we see the fetch getting... It's trying to decide, there's the question of what he can cast with it, and also the question of what he can afford to have wastelanded should that happen again.
Right, he does play 2 Spell Snare, so maybe it's getting Spell Snared also.
Volcanic Island, the eventual target.
And we're going to see Spell Snare, yeah.
There it is, Spell Snare. Much better than Daze for William.
Yep. And a pass back. William might have, if he has another land, he'll have time to make a Tarmogoyf for, some sort of monster. And he'll actually just waste back at Ruggiero.
Both just stalling for time here.
William is +2 cards for being on the draw and then the mulligan, and also William resolved to Ponder, so that's what the waste, and as we see here, the waste are really strong play. And another Wasteland stands at the ready. We're going to pass back. Oh, no, it's going to
2 mana.
Tap 2 for
Ice.
Ice the land.
Just looking for a little bit more time.
Yeah, he's trying to find I believe probably a green source. He already has achieved Threshold. And Ruggiero didn't draw the land anyway. Stevens.
Brainstorm? Nope.
Delver Secrets.
There we go. An actual potential threat.
Oh, very fine threat. So he found a threat to play. Not the probably the forest he's looking for, but the Delver, which is good enough. And the fish not drawing. Okay, here we go. Wasteland. A little late there. And the Delver did hit the table. If he has Vapor Snag, he could attempt to snag and waste. He's going to waste the Valk for William Stevens, try to play back at the Mana Screw game. Remember, though, William Stevens the one with the creature on the table. And he does have Vapor Snag. Now that he's wasted, he wastes first, I think, to deny Daze mana. And now he's going to debate whether or not he should snag the Delver. I think he's going to wait to see if it flips.
No flip.
I kind of like that. I kind of don't like that play. The reason I don't like it is because once Scott draws another land, he's going to want to be tapping out to do other things. So if he's already committing to snagging this Delver, he should do it on his main phase so that William didn't have a chance to drop an island and daze it.
And the Vapor Snag
still
works.
Still works. William drops 17. Both players with one land in play. What an exciting game of Legacy here.
I still like this as a chess match here. I mean, they both have made a... Oh, look at Tarmogoyf discarded.
Who can draw land first? Will it be Scott Ruggiero with Merfolk or William Stevens with Delver? And it's William Stevens. That's no good for Scott. He's going to get Tarmogoyfed here. I do believe. Well, I mean, if he has a daze, it's okay.
I was going to ask if you'd seen one.
Well, he could get dazed back. That'd be the worst situation. Would be Tropical Island, Tarmogoyf, daze.
And then lay the land the next turn and just basically be where he was.
Yeah, but
with a
down with a Tarmogoyf. Yeah. So I mean, step one, and then that's not even an unlikely line to happen here, unfortunately, for him. So all right. Step one, step two, Tarmogoyf. All right, step three, is it going to get dazed?
I see a Submerge in Scott Ruggiero's hand.
And a Vapor Snag.
I like the patience there.
On not snagging?
Not submerging. I wasn't thinking about the snag, actually. I was focused on the submerge.
I think I would have snagged there.
I think you're right with the Vapor Snag. I was in tunnel vision on the submerge.
Oh, well, he doesn't. The daze isn't that bad actually for him. If that had happened last time, because he still would have the blue mana to pay for the daze. I guess it'd be okay.
Pass.
No other land for William Stevens, but it doesn't seem like he needs one. Tarmogoyf currently sees creature, land, instant, sorcery. 4 or 5. And it's going to get... Submerge. All right, now we're going for the Submerge.
Mana available for days. I see one daze.
I feel like you should do that during your draw step.
Another Tarmogoyf? Another Tarmogoyf.
Alright, he's gonna force it. Force pitching Image. Alright, here comes some counter spells. And yeah, there's a daze on William's side of the board, but he doesn't really want to use it. Scott still with no more lands though. That's gonna be the story. If he can't draw one.
What a crazy top deck. Oh my god, Tarmogoyf.
Another one. Oh,
how lucky. Oh, maybe not.
What did he see in the yard that changed his mind there?
Not sure. Maybe he just thought about the Submerge again. Maybe he thought about days.
Yeah, instead he's going to set up just Ponder, just maybe get more lands, which I think is pretty respectable.
Maybe he saw no Spell Pierces in the yard.
Spell Snares, you mean?
Spell Pierce. Seeing no Spell Pierces in the yard, Ponder looking for land, and then lay the Tarmogoyf after.
If William can just make more lands, that's pretty good. he has the option. Not only does Scott have to draw an island, a mutavault or an underground sea isn't live for Scott. He gets wastelanded. So, opting to shuffle off the Ponder, it looks like. And draw off the Ponder. Does he hit his land? If no, it's going to make this... He does hit the land off it.
He does get the land off the top.
Alright, so now up 3-1. Pressure's on. Scott's got to draw islands. Even then, I'm not sure that works.
He changed over to a red source here.
Must have a bunch of red cards in his hand. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't cast Tarmogoyf. He'll just cast the Delver instead, which is pretty good. Can Scott hit a land? No. No, it's another Master of the Pearl Trident.
It does
no, it's an Aether Vial.
Aether Vial.
I mean, maybe. It's a little late. I think he's got to go for it. But I can't say I'm excited about Aether Vial from Scott Ruggiero.
Not very pump the fist right now, especially when you know your opponent can daze it without much fear.
Yeah. Daze it. Well, I mean, it's fine if he dazes it. You can. And does Scott? If Scott has a daze back, it's fine. Well, except that he just pays for it, and I don't know, it's pretty bad. Yep, he'll just daze, and it's gone.
Goodbye.
Delver does not flip. But Stevens still up on 3 lands again.
Relays the land, comes in for 1. Can lay a Tarmogoyf through a daze. Goyf. Wow. Wasteland is still there. Silver Girl Adept, revealing Lord of Atlantis.
Trying to draw it out because he knows this is a one-time use land. Asking his spell snared. No. Awkward for Ruggiero.
Delver says Force of Will. Oh, that might be the nails.
Yeah, both of us kind of groaned at that one. Scott's just been one land short for most of the match. There was one opening there where Williams started missing lands too, but then once Williams was the first one to draw out of it, I think it was back in Delver's favor.
In for a lot. Looking really rough here for Scott. I think he's going to probably just Vapor Snag this Tarmogoyf here. Try to keep alive a little longer.
Stevens with a red blast.
I mean,
he's going to red blast it.
Oh, okay. Well, for the near kill, if not the kill.
Yeah. Drops Ruggiero down to how big? Goyf, I think, is a 3 or a 4. So that's going to drop him down to 2 or 3. I don't know. We'll see it in a second here. And a Mongoose drops him to 1. It was a 5.
Things are looking bad.
And that's the match. William Stevens defeats Scott Ruggiero 2-1. Rug Delver defeats Merfolk. In round 4, Legacy opens. Stevens moves to 4-0. Scott drops to 3-1. Williams 4-0. Scott's 3-1.